Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, October 8th, 6 p.m., Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building. First item on our agenda is going to be a public hearing. The Town of Grand Rapids Board will conduct a public hearing on the following application. Changes to our Ordinance 52, which is regulating zoning. If you wish to speak for or against, I'll ask for that at the time. Purpose of this hearing is to consider proposed amendments and solicit citizen input in the following item. We're amending section 52.4, print D, print 4, to correct the reference to setbacks, replacing the term maximum with minimum. One simple typographical error makes us hold a public hearing. Hearing that, anybody wishing to speak in favor of the change in the wording from maximum to minimum? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of? Third and final time, anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor of? Hearing no positive, anybody wishing to speak against? Second time, anybody wish to speak against? Third and final time, anybody wish to speak against? Hearing none, I'll call the public hearing closed and call the regular town board to attention. First item on our agenda would be the Pledge of Allegiance, if you care to join. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 2, approval of the agenda for the meeting. Hearing nothing to correct, we'll move to item 3. Approve minutes from September 10th, 2019 and September 17th, 2019 town board meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve September 10th.
Motion Andrew,
Second by Patty.
second Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye. And I'm an aye, by the way. Motion carries. Item 4 is our public comment period. People wishing to address the board limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment period will not extend past 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to speak to the board? Go ahead, sir.
I'm having some problems with the Grand Rapids Police Department here. I have a neighbor that works nights.
Before you start, sir, I'll need your name and address for the record.
5530 Breezy Pine Drive.
And did I catch that you're having is it a complaint that you're concerning? You want to,
Over a year to them people, and they have done nothing about it.
okay, there's a process for you to follow up.
What else can I do?
You can write it.
The chief doesn't want to speak to me anymore. He sends one of his other men out there. They talk to me, they write it down, they don't do nothing.
I can't answer that. I'm not on the police department, sir. So you can write up a formal complaint if you wish to. Stop at the office. Okay. Anybody else wishing to speak to the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to regular agenda items. First will be the monthly reports. Police Chief Robert Pyatt, you're up first. You guys swap around. I apologize, Robert.
That's all
I
right.
just promoted you or demoted you. I'm not sure what it was, but
Honored to have Mel's title any day.
there you go.
So, all right. We just got off a call. I'm getting my thoughts together here. Okay, we're currently staffed with 46 fire and EMS members, 4 non-structural, 6 EMS, total of 24 members trained to do EMS. That hasn't changed since last month. We're always looking for good members for fire and EMS. If you're interested in serving our community for fire and EMS, you can stop by the fire station or contact the fire department at any time. So this last month, since the last report to the board, the department has responded to 37 calls for service compared to 36 this same time last year. The breakdown's a little different. Last month we did 28 EMS calls and 9 fire calls. So last year at this time, we had 7 fire and 29 EMS, so that's a 4% difference in the EMS and 22% decrease in the fire calls. So this month, we said 28 EMS calls. We had 9 calls for fire. That was broke down into 5 calls in Grand Rapids, 1 in Saratoga, 3 in the town of Grant. So it equated to 4 1050 car accidents, 1 structure/lightning strike, a gas leak, 2 power lines in the trees, and a lift assist for a EMS call that needed extra muscle. This last month for training, EMS group is still in their EMR refresher, and then some of our people that are trained above EMR are in their respective refreshers. This last month for fire, both trainings, we did emergency vehicle operation course, which consists of using some of our town properties here, and then obviously some driving out on our city street or town streets. And then other training, there was a few of us went up to the MABUS conference in Stevens Point a couple weeks ago and then also there was some resilience training, which dealt with recognizing stress in your firefighters and EMS responders. That was put on by Stevens Point Fire and Mid-State Technical College. It was a free training. There was no fees involved. We had 2 of us went up on Friday and 2 of us went up on Saturday. They were 2 different presentations. So yeah, last month we did our normal monthly department meeting, officers meeting, trainings, and then 1 EMS training. So for public relations, we're in full swing with our fire prevention programs with all the different preschools, elementary eds, and daycares. We've got several more to do yet this month. We'll be out at Grant School better part of the day here next Friday, and then, like I said, there's several of them on the docket as well. We're going out to Camp Sacagawea on Sunday. So our smoke detector program is still alive and well by the Red Cross. Anybody needs free smoke detectors put in their house, they can get a hold of us. And our address sign program is that's been moving right along. We've probably done a dozen signs in the last month, so that continues to grow. There's been no injuries. So yeah, there's been no injuries in the last month. So that's the safety report. Any questions?
William?
I was just wondering if we, on that address sign program, can we get a report of how much time you spent on it, the number of signs? I mean,
I should be able to get pretty close.
You know, what it's costing you and, you know, what it's costing.
Yeah, we're not making a ton on it. I mean, we're not, but that wasn't the intent. The intent was to get these neighborhoods, get so we can find these addresses. I mean, you drive around these cul-de-sacs in Grand Rapids at night for an ambulance call where they can't get their street light on or their living room light on or whatever. I mean, it's a bear finding some of these house numbers. So even the streets that have like 1 here and 2 over here, at least you can piece together if you're looking for 2820 and there's 2620, there's 3020. It's one of these houses in between there. So even the 50 or 60% of the town that has them, it's an immense help because you can fill in the dots so much easier.
Well, my point of this is that this was started with Don Bone being the fire chief, and he started this as a fundraiser. And when, you have fundraisers or things like that, you have to make a report to the board, and I've never seen one yet.
Oh, okay, I can, let me put that in my notes. I will try to come back next month with some statistics on how many we've sold and like I said, I know just for this last year, like I said, if we're making a buck or two a sign, by the time I just bought more hardware and the signposts and then if people get impatient, then I end up not ordering them in bulk, and then we pay a lot more for shipping. And personally, like I said, my goal, I don't care if we make any money on it at all. I just want the signs out there. It's frustrating when you have a medical call and you can't find the house,
Anybody else? Just one comment on the smoke detector program. I talked to Captain Ski the other day, and he said he's well over 400 smoke detectors installed now, so he's tickled to death.
Yeah, we're one of the premier, in the whole north central region of the state, I don't think there's a department that's put more of these in than we have.
Well, I think
So-
that's got a lot to do with Ski, and
Well, absolutely.
I commend him on his involvement and getting out and really getting after that.
Yeah, fire
Because,
prevention is his thing.
Yeah, you're doing very well with him. Very lucky to have him.
So,
All right, then we had no incidences on the accident report, eh?
nope.
All right, any other questions, comments? Thank you very much, sir. I will now call Police Chief Mel Peterson.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. All right, for the month of September, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 406 calls for service. That compared to 425 calls for service in September of last year. That's approximately a 4.4% decrease in calls, and town board members should have a breakdown of those calls. Now that we're at the end of the third quarter for 2019, the Grand Rapids Police Department has handled 3,728 calls for service, and that compared to 3,501 calls for service during the same time frame last year, and that reflects about a 6.4% increase in calls. The police department issued 56 traffic citations, 16 municipal ordinance citations, and 26 written warnings during the month of September. On September 17th, John Gether Sr. of Tech Pros and I attended a cybersecurity seminar at North Central Technical College up in Wausau. This training was conducted by Wisconsin Emergency Management and Wisconsin Statewide Intelligence Center. The seminar emphasized the ability of all levels of government within the state of Wisconsin to effectively respond to and mitigate cyber attacks that we're all too familiar with nowadays. On September 19th and September 23rd, I participated in Law Enforcement Recruit Academy interviews at Mid-State Technical College at the Stevens Point campus. So it was a good opportunity to get a preview of some of the students wanting to enter a career in law enforcement. The Grand Rapids Auxiliary Police assisted with Choose to Reuse event on Saturday, September 21st at the town garage. They assisted with traffic and also crowd control at that event. The vehicles in the department are doing well outside of normal maintenance. And once again, feel free to stop by my office anytime if you have any questions, concerns, or just want to talk. Any questions?
Go ahead, Patty.
I just want to say that the police auxiliary, the two people that we had, did a wonderful job on the Choose to Reuse. We had such a turnout that we had backup traffic all the way down on 2 Mile, and they coordinated and got people moving, and it just, with their presence there, it really helped with the situation that we had.
So, yeah, they've got some, our numbers are up a little bit on the auxiliary, and the ones we do have on there are some very young, hard-charging students that want to get into this career. So they've been working out really, really well for us. So hopefully we can keep them around for a while. So,
Thank you for having them there.
yeah.
Anything else? If not, thank you very much, Chief. Amy Cook, Treasurer Report.
Good evening. For the month of September, current month receipts were $20,970. Current month disbursements were $222,123. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $1,036,811, with $106,802 in checking and $674,814 in the repo account, and $321,338 in the money market. Any questions?
Any questions of the Treasurer? Not, thank you very much. Item 6, consider and possible action on a temporary Class B liquor license for business after hours at Midstate Technical College on October 14th, 2019. Angel is here. Any questions?
Make the motion to approve the request.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 7 is consider possible action on resolution 2019-17 to amend ordinance 52 zoning, correcting the reference to setbacks.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion Patty, second Bill. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. No opposed? Item 8, consider possible action resolution 2019-19 to provide a substitution for treasurer's bond. That's our annual update on that.
I'll make a motion to approve, second read.
Motion Dan, second Andrew. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed. Motion carried. Item 9, approved bids for items placed on Wisconsin surplus auction site. Some items look very good and some not so good. Just for board information, the breathing apparatuses is extremely low. I'd be interested in not accepting that bid and looking for an alternative place to sell them. I think we're probably close to $1,000 below what they should, market value.
I'll make a motion not to accept that.
And approve the arrest, or is that what your wishes, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Deny
I'll
item
second that.
and seconded by Andrew, so we will not accept the apparatus.
So were there any other ones that you wanted to think about, or?
Uh,
Does it seem
really,
like
the
you were
ti- the tire-
Say more.
Yeah, it's basically the tires, we got 140 on them and
Right.
$5 on two, and it's the same person, from what Lisa said, that
Oh.
paid the 140, so you might as well have them all and be,
What about the Wi-Fi hotspots, is that?
no bids, no bid on it, no bid, so
what do we do with that then?
I don't know, we'll have to see if there's a alternative source to get rid of them.
They're not all that expensive. I think when we first got them, I think they were like $25 a piece. So they're not a high dollar
Oh,
item
okay.
to begin with.
They don't give us any type of credit, turn them back in, like
No,
towards our bill or
I tried to turn them
anything?
back in when we switched from US Cellular to Verizon, and they wouldn't even take them.
Okay.
So, unless we have a use here, and I can talk with Bob if he's interested in putting hotspots, but then.
Are they US Cellular?
Yep.
Well, they're US Cellular when we purchased them, but my understanding, you could buy a card from a different provider and put in there, and it would, then you could use it for what, any other
Is there any,
service provider.
any of the other agencies around us using US Cellular yet still, potentially, we could look at?
I think everybody's
They've all
switching to
kinda
the
switched,
big V,
so.
better reception.
Yeah. If we can't get nothing for them, we could
Yeah.
at least give them to somebody.
Well-
I was gonna say donate them.
We'll find, maybe some charities could use them. All right, the motion made and seconded to approve the bids with the exception of the breathing apparatuses. Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No opposed. Okay, motion. Consider possible action on Alfred Jaworski attending field training officer in Pewaukee.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for training.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Dan. This doesn't come up anywhere closer, chief?
Not in a timely fashion, no. These are once, maybe twice a year, and so in order to get somebody in it, you pretty much got to send them to wherever it's at, so they don't come up very often.
Okay,
I went to Janesville when I went to mine long ago, actually working here, so.
Precedence was set then, huh?
Yeah, must have been.
Is this one of the courses that you mandate all the officers to take?
No, this is to be a field training officer. So when we hire a new officer, a new part-time officer, then they're the training officers that would get
Okay.
these new
The new ones
police
then.
officer up to speed.
Okay.
Right now, we have two, Sergeant Drinkline and Officer Conover are currently FTOs.
Okay.
And so this would be our third one,
Okay.
And you have funds in the budget, correct?
yes.
All right, motion been made second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Item 11, consider possible action, Treasurer Cook attending grant writing training in Green Bay, Wisconsin,
I'll make a
October
motion to approve.
24th and 25th.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Andrew.
Yes, Mike.
Any discussion?
This is great.
Are you the only one going?
Study.
Are you the only one going?
This is great.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have an aye. Any opposed? We're on 12. Consider possible action on the Village of Bearne's request to partner with the town of Grand Rapids to apply for a DOT multimodal local supplemental grant for reconstruction of 64th Street and Huffman Road. I think I've shared an email with you that I received from Bill Rurink from their office. And what they're looking for to do is Grand Rapids to be secondary on the application process. They are planning on using a engineering service to engineer it. To what level, I don't know yet. But if the Grand Rapids goes in with them and the request is not granted, they would be looking to assess us some of the engineering charges, fees. So,
Do we know what the ballpark of that's
I have
gonna even
no
be
idea.
yet?
Yeah, it's like we're signing a blank check here.
blank check.
So
and,
if it is
Yeah, let's sign a
granted,
blank check.
if it is granted, so they do get it at the 90-10, are we looking to split that 10 then %?
Well,
Or what would that be?
They didn't clearly define that, but quite frankly, I would rather we would build that. It's only a 1,400-foot section that the town has, and our section is high. Theirs is low.
Is this the one between like the cranberry box?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Oh,
So I would say if, quite frankly, we could approach it at a later date if they build it and we need to upgrade our road to meet that, we could do that for less than 20,000. And we could have that much in engineering if we decide to go along with them. I don't,
Well, I'm assuming that road's gonna get a lot more traffic with the new development. Is that a reason for doing this?
that's the
Is
reason
that-
why they're going after the grant is they want to upgrade the whole thing so that they can,
And now they wanna upgrade their whole, it's just gonna be in the Village of Beer that they wanna upgrade, or they wanna run it all the way out to 54
they'd like us to upgrade our portion,
and be part of the grant program?
right. And
But here,
go ahead, Bill, you had your hand up first?
Yeah. I think we should contact Nick on this, and so it's all in writing as to what they're proposing, and then we make a decision at another meeting. And one of the reasons is being on a county board, we had a deal with the Bearn community on that project 8 years ago, and they still owe the county $6,000, and their board said they're not going to pay it.
I would prefer to just decline to do it. We don't need to get our lawyers involved. If we need to upgrade the road eventually, we can do that.
What would it cost to upgrade that road all the way out? Because I think it's gonna be an issue if they, when that development goes in further than that, but to upgrade that road all the way out there, with Is that not gonna be real nominal?
Well, for,
Yeah, but I think there's gonna be traffic with those neighborhoods going in. That's really starting.
The road is-
They've already changed the location of County Highway U already now, is all rerouted out there?
What
The-
neighborhoods are going on?
I have no idea what their intent to do, but the road, our road is 22 foot wide, which is the normal road width for a road. A collector road would be 2 foot wider. It wouldn't be any big issue for us to build it like we just got done building Woodrock Avenue, and that was a $40,000 road. So we wouldn't have anywhere near that, and I don't believe we need any engineering because we all built that up. That's all on sand, and
Yeah.
it would be able to take tough traffic and everything if that's what they wanted. I would prefer we decline.
I'll make a motion to decline this.
I'll second it.
Motion by Patty, second by Bill to decline the partnership arrangement.
Any discussion? All right.
Hmm?
So, and on this too, and I have no issues with partnering with Bierner on doing a construction project, but this one is way too vague and, you know, there's opportunity for, you know, we don't know what we're getting into. So like you said, until they want to come back with another proposal where it's much more clear what their expectations are of us.
I think that's gonna be a little bit difficult because time is very short. This has to be into the state on by December 6th. Bill, you had a
You
question?
guys, I'm voting against this, because I think we should have had this in writing for tonight. We should have had what they were proposing. Maybe there is something in it for us. You know, we would like help on our road from 64th Street to 80th, and, you know, I think we should talk about it. I think they should send us something in writing. Maybe there is something there. I mean, everybody's got, I'm voting no against just throwing it out.
I guess my only comment, same way, I'm gonna vote no. I'm not opposed to it, although there's more details that need to be met, i.e. what the match would be, where we're gonna split the 10%, as to how that would be divvied up at the end if we are awarded the project, and then what the cost would be to even,
Unfortunately, they didn't spend enough time to get their facts together. They don't have them, they don't know anything right now, so there's nothing we can act on, and
too much of a risk.
it's too much of a risk if we don't
Some
know.
blank check.
So the motion again, can you
I was gonna
read
say,
that?
the motion is to decline the partnership, so
Right.
you're voting
I'm voting no.
no against the
No.
motion though, or
I'm
no?
voting that we to not do this, so yes.
You're
So you're
Okay.
voting as
Yes.
to, okay, you're in favor
You're
of
gonna
declining
vote
it,
They're
yes.
in
okay.
favor of declining.
But Bill,
it,
you're
is how-
voting
yeah.
against the
Yeah.
motion, correct? Okay.
Well, he hasn't voted yet, so he might change his mind. People can change their mind.
He
You
did
know, it
say
is
that.
Bill.
Sort of a double.
All right, the motion been made to decline the partnership arrangement. All in favor of the declining it, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed?
No.
One opposed. Thank you. Okay, consider a possible action on a possible TRIP road project for the TRIP grant program. Now, the reason I didn't give you much information there, I was thinking, maybe that road would make a good TRIP project, knowing that the cost would be approximately $40,000. We could do that. Or we could do the other part of, put in a grant request for the other part of Washington, but those funds would only turn into be about $20,000, so that wouldn't make sense. To my mind, it's not getting much bang for your buck on a grant program, so the only thing I was thinking, I don't have any other really, really bad roads in our area that really need to be dressed up with a grant at the moment, but that are not longer. I was looking for a relatively short project, and I don't like to
Waste.
put a request in for a road that really doesn't need to get fixed, and I'm thinking we could,
So would widening, you know, shoulders or something like that be part of the trip?
it could be, yes.
Right, because, you know, we need to start thinking more about the safety of bicycles and walkers and
Mhm.
what we can do to start getting that in our community. So I don't know if,
I agree with you totally, Patty. This TRIP project, this is the county-funded project where we received the grant for last year to do 36th Street. And typically, quite frankly, they like to share the projects around to the different parts of the community. I don't think our numbers would come up this year to receive one, simply because we had one last year, but
right,
that's,
We need to submit one
it certainly doesn't hurt us to submit one.
Yeah. So I would recommend, like you said, I think that 64 at the top. We
Yeah.
submit that.
We can
64
submit
to what did you say?
64th to where it meets Huffman Road. To
We do
the-
that.
That's about 1,400 feet.
That's all the way out to 54.
Yep.
And I think that's gonna be an area of concern within the next couple of years of the development.
Like
I
I
don't know.
said, can we get widening that?
Mm-hmm. We could put it to 24.
Mhm.
Okay, is that a
so
motion?
That's a motion.
1,400, but let's just, may I make one more comment about that?
Absolutely. I won't ignore you, Patty.
Well, thank you very much. One of the things that, you talk about $40,000 and it's 1,400 feet. And it's the road that goes to Beeren, what about some of the cul-de-sacs in here, Brookhaven, as an example, we're saying, how would they like to have the rest of their subdivision brought up? If you just take Airport Avenue and head more towards into town, the blades of the plows are just scraping up that chip seal. I know it's not enough to, $40,000 or whatever it is not going to help Airport Avenue, but
No, but
this is-
airport could be resealed again.
for 40 grand.
It's about 25,000 a mile.
So,
Mm-hmm.
that's my thinking, 1,400 feet for how many people is that gonna help? Where Airport Avenue, $40,000 is really gonna help.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately,
I-
chip sealing doesn't count on it.
Mhm.
So, I
it
mean,
doesn't?
Now,
double chips would be, but not single chips. But, I mean, we can, you can have your thoughts, and we could still do this at one of our budget meetings. We can put it on our agenda
Okay.
for the budget meeting, give us a little more time to,
So on this
To look
one,
it
we're
over.
not actually gonna designate an area,
And it has
that
to-
was in the motion, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
So,
was.
It has
Are
to be,
you
it has to be a
interested?
road, it has to be a roadway work.
Can we table
we
it?
could table it. You know,
Has to be a roadway.
Second to your
Yeah.
motion.
Right.
so you'll have to.
I don't have a second to the motion, yeah.
Oh, I
Right,
thought
you're
you
right.
did.
No.
I did not.
Oh, okay, thank you.
was there a second?
No, there was
Oh,
not.
it wasn't, okay.
No.
Oh, so it just dies.
Item 14, Chairman's update on DOT multimodal local road supplemental grant, Washington Street, including possible involvement of City of Wisconsin Rapids on their portion. And I did have a meeting with Joe Terry, who is their Public Works guy. He put it on the Finance and Property Committee. I met with them on whatever the date was, I forget, just last Monday, Monday, and they, Finance and Properties is in favor of the project. I explained to them what was involved. The project would come in roughly at $1,875,000. Depending on the drillings that would be a part of the engineering, the worst-case scenario is that they would take down 24 inches and put breaker rock and then road base and then a 5-inch road surface would be then. Now, the road is 24 foot currently, two 12-foot lanes. We can get in a 28-foot section, which would allow for two 11-foot driving lanes, two 11-foot paved shoulders, and a 1-foot gravel shoulder would fit within that area. At this stage, it's difficult for us to see whether the state is, I don't have the answer to it, whether they would accept a 3-foot shoulder, paved shoulder as a bike lane. I don't have that answer yet. I believe it needs to be 4, but I don't know if there's any exemptions based upon just not a rough road surface to do it. But the intention would be to try to fit it in. Now, there is maybe a possibility of moving it 1 foot over to the south side and ended up with 4 foot on the north side, because the north side has the least amount of water issues than the south does. So, but we don't know that until we really have some engineering work done. So, but I did meet with the city. We did have a discussion about it. They asked kind of what the layout was. Supervisor Clendenning was there and made some statements of that. First off, I think, what was your comment, Bill? You said the board hadn't discussed this yet? Is that what it was?
I will discuss my own discussion on this.
Anyway, the project, as we, in our minutes, stated that it is to be 80th Street all the way to 48th Street.
Okay.
And that's what we decided, the bid, to go out and seek a grant request for it. And I have the Roland Hawk from Wood County as soon as he gets back from his vacation trip, and I will be writing this with Amy's help.
Start right off with the home run.
And we'll put this request in, if we get the funding, it's 90%. Go ahead, Bill.
My statement was at that, and it's in the minutes in your packet today. And it says the meeting of September 17th. It says possible road projects were discussed. Motion by Paulson and Lumbee to pursue funding for Washington Street from 80th to 64th. There is nothing that said 48th. And I'll pass out this.
I have it right in front of me, Bill.
I'll pass out this. I have the floor, Arnie, and I'm discussing your question. And here's what it says. This was at the Finance and Property Committee. I made that statement that you had a motion to pursue the project from 80th Street to 64th. And you did say at that meeting that that was wrong information. I said, I will bring the minutes to the city council. I took the minutes to the city council and showed them where it said from 48. And this is what it says right here. It says, request referral, the partnership with the town of Grand Rapids to apply for a DOT multi-local supplement grant to upgrade Washington Street from 48th to 80th.
I need to listen to the tape, because I believe the tape, Dan's Paulson's request was all the way to 48th to 80th. And Patty's agreeing with me, so I think there's an error in what this says. We will listen to the tape again. You may be right, but I believe you're wrong, Bill. Because
Okay, so what portion?
Go ahead.
Well, what portion of it belongs to the city of Wisconsin Rapids?
Right in front of
That portion
Mariana.
right in front of them.
right in front
Why
of
did they
Marion.
want to go all the way back to 48th Street to correct that? Well,
Because,
because we're transferring that now to 80th Street, so they don't have to use Washington Street, they don't have to use 48th Street.
the idea is to develop it so both corners are, so the semis can move around the corners with greater ease. When you have just a short 90-degree corner, that's all you have. And when Roland Hawk looked at this, he said, you need to round those corners, both 48th Street and 80th Street. We'll follow the tape up tomorrow morning and we'll listen to it again. Dan?
I thought we had discussions on, throughout, we did discuss 80th to 64th, but also 80th to 48th. And we also took it to 32nd.
We did,
We took it all the way down,
but then we
you know, and then we
decided
decided to back it up to 48th.
Right, because
But again, I mean, so we had discussion about that whole section, and
Are you referring to the minutes from the 9/17
The special
Yeah.
meeting.
There was discussion regarding numerous parts, but the motion itself is verbatim as it's in here. I listened to it about 5 times.
Did you?
Yes. The motion itself, as in the minutes, is exactly what Dan said for his motion.
Okay. So,
That's where I'd like to ask the correction be made in that the intention was to go to 48th Street.
yeah, I mean, and we talked about 32nd, but I think we agreed on 48th,
And that's what I
80th.
thought.
mainly.
And I can listen to it again tomorrow, but that's,
Okay, well,
and we can listen to the whole thing and see what else was talked about more before if you want. but-
no, that's all right. Well,
So the point being is partnering with the grant on this is from 48th to 80th. And again, my understanding is they want to improve that whole distance. And yes, you're right, I think the city actually owns like where, right in front of Mariana?
yeah,
and-
from
and that's
Mariana's
it.
property to the 64th Street.
Okay, so they're over, but future use and whatever, I can see it advantageous to
Yep.
make
May
that.
may I just comment?
Well, are we on my update yet? Is this pertaining to the update, or?
Listen, why would you want to improve that corner? Because Roland Hawk said so. I have talked about this. My personal feeling is, I think Washington Street should be a county road. It would hook up to Highway 54 and 80. And it's a terrible road for us for maintenance because of the water. And we want to add bicycle lanes to it, so maybe it more gets better funding, or we fit more in it. I don't think a road with a lot of truck traffic of over an increase of 100 trucks a day is the right place to put bicycle lanes. I think we should look at this and see if we can turn that road over to the county, and that be a county road. Because if we shut off from 64th Street to 48th Street, if we shut that off to semi-traffic, what semis are gonna be making that corner? I think this has to be discussed a lot more, and,
I think we
because I
discussed
was
it.
called a liar at the meeting.
I said that I truly believe, and I can't believe that I heard that wrong, because we clearly stated that we needed to go to 48th Street. And then the board was going to consider rebuilding from 48th down to the school. So if it is correct, and at least I don't trust I don't distrust your
No.
note-taking
I-
minutes.
No, and I wasn't at that
I
meeting,
will
so I was
ask
just
of
listening
this,
to
get
them.
this put on our next agenda so that we can correct it.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to 15, consider possible action on appointing additional non-board members to Economic Development Committee in the future. Had a request from the leader of the Economic, Andrew, to possibly consider having up to 3 additional people sit on the committee to help them work through the process. And asking our attorney, Nick, what the process was, he says the chairman should bring it up to the board and ask them if they're wishing to add the additional people. Whether it's paid or unpaid is entirely up to everybody else. What's your wish? Andy, do you want to give?
Well,
a
just let me speak on it for just a little bit. So the Economic Development Committee meetings, yeah, we had our last meeting, which was a while ago. We're working on having another one. It's been difficult. But I've been working kind of behind the scenes on trying to see what some of these projects that we've talked about to get some of these things rolling so we get stuff going. We had a kind of a popcorn discussion initially of all these ideas. And that's kind of what happened at the last Economic Development Committee meeting before Dan and I were appointed to the committee. And, you know, I looked at all of this stuff, and it's really for 2 people, a committee of 2 people, to conquer some of the projects that are there for that committee and things we could be getting involved in. It's really just not, it's not feasible. I totally understand why, when I read the old minutes, that I think it was Patty and Bill had met and had that similar discussion. And, you know, I feel exactly the situation you were in, walking out of that meeting going, God, we got all kinds of really great ideas here, but how do we get these things in motion with just the 2 of us? And my thought process is there's a lot of really good things we could be doing, and we have a lot of good ideas. You guys came up with some really good ideas in your meeting that we could still be acting on. We came up with some good ideas in our last meeting, but we just need more people. And there's people in the community have reached out and spoken with people that have been interested on being on the board or shown interest in the town. I'm totally open to anybody that wants to be a part of it. That has some value to bring towards the town and their possible networking connections or whatever we might be able to do to kind of make some of these projects happen. I'm all for it. I think that we need to open our door to that.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that, I think it should be a 5-person committee. I think there should be 2 town board supervisors on it, which there is now, not 3, because that would be a majority of the board. So there would be 2 town board supervisors, and I think one of the other people that should, I think the town board chairman should appoint one of those, and the committee should appoint 2, with confirmation of the full board.
I would second that motion. I do have some discussion additionally, though.
Okay. Motion been made by Bill, seconded by Andrew. Any more discussion you want to go on now, or?
Yeah, as far as that goes, I'm in support of that. I think we came up with kind of a 3 number just to kind of, add to that. Giving that 5, I think it would be good. And the other thing is compensation. I think we should be looking at compensating them similarly to the plan commission. We're asking these people to set time aside to come, and we're also going to be asking a lot of them in the off time. And it's not just going to be they show up to a meeting and make some decisions. Really, this is a boots on the ground, and I really want the people that we do appoint to this committee to be willing to put the work in on the off time to try to network and make some of these projects happen. We have some good ideas and some good things in motion. We just need to get our foundation set up nicely so we can make some of this stuff happen. And it's not Dan and I trying to accomplish things that really are very difficult for 2 people to deal with.
Dan?
I agree wholeheartedly with what you're doing, and I would like to agree with compensating them as we do the planning and zoning, the same scale.
What do we have to set that in the budget?
Plan commission is 60, I believe? No, 55? I'd have to look. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were. But,
Yeah.
and again, this isn't going to take, we're not gonna get this together until probably, for sure after January.
All right, why don't we
Right.
Would we put-
take this
would be a
motion
part-
and start the process, and then we'll work on the budget compensation.
Okay.
Is that agreeable?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and aye, opposed? Opposed? 16 September vouchers. Questions?
Give me a sign.
No comments on it. We'll move to item 17, operator license. Victoria Fensky, Megan Holshin, John Ross, The Store, Savory Steakhouse. For your information, which is going to be the new name for Marjorie's.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 3 1-year.
Second.
Motion Dan, second by Andrew. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. 19, monthly reports from committees. Public Works, Rick's report is in front of you. Paving's done, shoulder work completed. Striping on 64th and South Park completed. Phase reports to the state DOT completed. New pickup trucks in service. Surface runoff drains have been installed on Prairie View subdivision to aid the flooding that we had this last spring. And mowing, patching, etc. is ongoing. It's his report.
I have a question on it.
I don't know if I can answer it, but I'll try.
Okay, so, back in June 26, there was a report about bad water and stuff like that. There also has been on 71st Street and also on 70th, 731 Grove Avenue, and 721 Grove Avenue. That's where, and you said that Rick went and had somebody come and dig that up or did something. Could we get a report on that? You know, I'd like to know how much it costs us, so for historical purposes, we could say, oh, we did that back in 2019. This is what we did to that ditch. I think we should have a written report.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the cost, Bill. I know we had county,
But I think that should be in the report.
yeah, I'm just telling you, I don't know what the cost is. I will find it. I don't know if they charged us. I would assume the county would have charged us for the surveying that they did, and
The guy that did the digging,
Dredging.
the dredging in there. You know, it's kind of like it goes back to that other one that you talked about, that drain pipe. You know, people ask me if we have a report on it, and I really don't think we do. On that whole thing from that subdivision down to Lake Wazeecha. And this particular property that I'm talking about with that, you know, the county owns quite a bit of land on that, where that ditch runs down there to the lake. So I think we should have a report on that, and for further use, we can get the county involved in this, because that water runs by them. So I'd like to see Rick make a report on that.
okay.
Rick report. I ain't signed it.
Okay, Airport Commission, not much to report. We had a meeting, but fuel sales are only for 23 days, so it's, might as well not even talk about it. But jet traffic is slowing down finally. I think last weekend it was one of our busier weekends. But as to the 23rd, we had 40 jets in, so I believe we had another 10 or 12. And we still continue to see jet traffic coming in from businesses. Sunoco's been in several times for their Forenzo facilities they're buying. Metallico was in just last week for the groundbreaking ceremony, and et cetera, et cetera. So we continue to see a lot of business traffic coming in besides the golfing.
I have a question on the airport.
Go ahead.
On your item number 4B, which says discuss status of an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Wisconsin Rapids and the
Southwood
County Airport Commission. Is the town going to get to look at that? Are we going to be able to look at that?
Oh, absolutely. Each individual municipality will have a look at it.
You know, and I think in that, now that the city is talking about they want an admin fee for doing all this budgeting and stuff like that. When I was on the airport commissioner, when we hired Jamie, the airport commissioner, and that's when he became an employee of the airport. But he was an employee of the city of Wisconsin Rapids, and they did it. Is what was in the making at that time was, we were supposed to be doing our own financing. The airport commission hired an attorney. You have an attorney. I think we should have a financial officer, and I think that person should be doing the budgeting and things like that. And that's just the way I feel about it. That should be in that governmental agreement. I don't know why we have to go to the city for everything. And then you also agreed upon this thing, this wind vane, and at the end of it, it says that you're going to involve the town of Grand Rapids Public Works Department.
Basically, we're getting a used culvert from there. Piece of metal to put in the hole.
I just think the city is right there to charge things, but we're not, and we supply a lot of help there. I think that I would be interesting to see that intergovernmental agreement.
I think we've been looking for it for 11 months, so I can tell you that true.
4 years.
Just wondering, we're gonna be going into our budgeting, and Was there any talk about decrease in the town's share or a different formula being used because of the increase of fuel?
Yes, but not yet. We need to get through our build out and then look, see that we have all the equipment we need. And then as we generate excess revenues, the intention is to start
Okay.
returning them back.
Not this budget.
No, it won't be this one.
And I think that would be the wrong thing to do, because you're getting $10,000 from the county. And that was brought up about your fuel sales and your airport fees. I think we should be continuing to do the same thing we've always done in the past and paying a portion of our equalized value that way. I just do, because if any other town, say, or any other county, say Adams County or the town of Rome would want to join, or Buren would want to join, they have to go back and make that payment up to join it. So I think that would be a very bad move to do.
That's your comment, and I will then go down the list this time to Plan Commission.
It's an easy one.
Yeah, but
We're
that-
not gonna meet till Monday.
Okay. Public Buildings, nothing yet?
No, we're gonna be meeting here shortly, but nothing.
Public Safety,
Nothing going on, everything's doing pretty well.
Economic Development.
Really quick, the
Oh,
fire
you got-
department is, they did go over, I was gonna go, I held over for work to look at fire trucks. They went to Pierce. They are doing some research on fire trucks coming up here too, just, needs and stuff like that on future things that we want to be looking at in the budget coming up here.
Okay, and then Economic Development, you've just talked about that
Yeah,
basically.
Yep, I have been talking with individuals that, just potentially could be interested in being on this committee, as we've just talked about tonight. And I just want to urge all the board members and other people in the community, if they have interest in this, to please reach out to a board member or myself. We definitely want community input and people to be involved in this committee.
Okay, Recycling Solid Waste, Bill?
I don't have a written report for you because we haven't met, and with our forms that we have to fill out too, that will accompany that report. But we did have 9,200 pounds of metal, that 2 hoppers full of that. And also we had 100 tires for, not 100 tires, we had 34 tires for $100, and of course that went to Paul's Repair. We had 62 gallons of oil. This one, and we dumped those in the container there. And we had 2.5 ton of waste, and that comes to $290.10. And TJ's Auto did pay that, and they paid that to Clean Green Action, and they will pay A-Line that. So, but we will have a written report for you at the next meeting.
What
Okay.
was it, like 300,
325 cars come through.
325 cars?
And good job by the town, good job by the auxiliary police, and that was mentioned. It was, we did stop early. We stopped at 11 o'clock, and that was on it. And it worked out good. I think we were all out of there by 1:30, and the rain was
Came
off.
right after that.
I think it was
Any other questions, comments? Legislative Committee, nothing yet. They'll be getting together again soon. There's a few more things in the hopper. Personnel Committee, there was no action yet.
No, nothing. We will be meeting again here shortly with personnel.
Okay, reports from individual board members, Bill?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Police and Fire Commission. I know that they had a meeting, and they
Mhm.
were going to vote chairman and secretary.
Yeah,
too.
they're waiting to get a designation from somebody that moved out of the area.
Okay,
So we have to wait for that to get here,
all right.
and then they'll meet. And, okay, then Bill, board members, anything? Dan,
Nope.
Patty,
No, thank you.
I'm good.
Andrew, Amy, anything? Lisa, anything?
No.
I have nothing. Okay, again, item 20, limit board members, public, people wishing to address the board, any more time, 2 minutes each, if not to exceed 16 minutes in length. Anybody else? Hearing none, next agenda, we'll establish as we go. Item 22, Board Grand Rapids move into closed session pursuant to statutes 19.85, print 1, print E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whatever competitive or bargaining reasons requires closed sessions for the purpose of this beginning discussions on renegotiating of fire service contracts. Motion is made by
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Dan, second by Andrew. Board roll call. Bill.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Patty.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Arnie. I'm an aye. We are in closed session. We thank you very much, folks, for attending. I've asked